Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another review. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It is beautiful blue skies out there, so I am delighted. Have a nice day planned for today. But first off, I wanted to talk to you about the new Recoil RDA from Grimmgreen and Ohmboy OC. So this is his much anticipated, or their much anticipated RDA, and it's pretty good. It's pretty fantastic. I haven't had it for very long, and I wanted to put a review up fairly quickly because I've been using it non-stop since I got it. Starting to learn some of its little foibles, some of its little quirks, but it's a very nice little RDA. So let's go down close and have a look at it in a little bit more detail, and then we'll have a bit of chat. Thanks very much. So here is the box that the Recoil RDA will come in. Simple box, just a cardboard box. We've got some logos on the side, some artwork on the back, but nothing else really to tell you about the product. And then inside you have a little foam area. You have a bag with some spare O-rings and some screws, so there's 4 grub screws in there. And then you have the additional airflow barrel. So with the atomizer, you get 2 airflow control barrels, I suppose, if you want to call them that, or cloud cap and flavor cap, and they each have a slightly different airflow. So this one has smaller airflow holes, this one has larger airflow holes. If you then put that away, then we can have a look at the atomizer itself. So really quite simple in terms of the atomizer itself. You've got some etching on the front there, so the Recoil logo, and then you've got 2 airflow holes there and 2 airflow holes there, which go in and down, so pointing at your coils. You have a drip tip, which is not a 510 drip tip, it's a removable sort of Delrin drip tip. But it's held on really quite firmly, so you don't need to pull it off. And then what you have is you have a top cap section, which is what I've been using to drip if I haven't been dripping through the drip tip. That's fairly well secured on. It pops on and off nicely. Decent O-rings on there, which is good. And that's all there is for the top. On the bottom you have your Grim Yock hashtag. Let's focus that up a little bit more. Apologies. And I am lucky enough to have number 1000, which is kind of cool. You have a nice protruding 510 on there, so popping out really nicely. Looks like gold plated or brass. And then what you have is you have the actual atomizer itself. So if I take that out, it pops off very nicely. The top barrel section has a nice lip in it there, so your top cap rests on it. It also has another lip in it on the other side, so that when you push your deck in, it won't go all the way through. So that's a very nice little feature. So here you have the deck section. It's much smaller than you would think based on this top cap. So the steel is incredibly thick on the top cap, and it's a very weighty little device, or weighty little thing. But this is actually, in terms of the deck section, it's much smaller. It's much more like a 22mm deck section. There you go. So that's a 22mm atomizer. This is the deck section for the Recoil, and it's almost, yeah, it's laughable. It's much smaller, but that doesn't make it a bad atomizer. What we have is we have a 4-post design, which is fairly standard, I think, really. It was either going to be a 2-post or a 4-post. And I've got a dual fuse Clapton in there, if we can see. There we go. Yeah, dual fuse Clapton in there. Basically you have your post holes are off center, so you have these side posts are higher, or the holes are higher, and the center post, your positive post, is lower, so that you can ostensibly fit your coils in more easily because of the way that a coil works, because one side is going to be higher, one side is going to be lower. To be quite honest, I didn't find it massively easy or massively different to just a normal atomizer, but you know, it works very nicely and it works very well. I haven't had any problems with these screws coming out on me, and they've been very good. They seem to be nice and strong. They're not stripping at all. I've built this a couple of times, and it's got a nice deep juice well. So the juice well is what, that sort of depth? Yeah. It's a couple of mil. If you want the full specifications, then go somewhere else, because I don't do that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a really nice little build deck, really nice little atomizer. I've noticed that the O-rings have got some burrs on, and you do need to make sure that you lubricate your top cap when you're putting it in. But other than that, they go together very, very nicely, like so. All right, cool. So that was down with the Recoil RDA, and look, it's really good. I've really been enjoying it. It's you know, it's a hype atomizer. It's something which people have been sort of, you know, loving or hating, or you know, there's been, you know, people's opinions are always going to be their opinions, but it's always going to be slightly tempered by the fact that it's been produced by a famous reviewer. But genuinely, it is a very good device. It's got great airflow. I've been using mainly the cloud cap on there, so the wider open airflow holes. It's non-adjustable, which is fine by me. So you have that choice between the two caps for a slightly more restricted draw and a slightly more open draw. And it's a very nice RDA. It has this little peculiarity that if you blow out, then it comes up past you. Now that does, I don't particularly like that, so let's just show you. You just get sort of warm condensation on your face, or if you have a beard, then you get it all in your beard, which is a little bit strange, and you have to hold it at a funny angle if it's not screwed onto your mod directly straight like that. But that is a small price to pay for what is essentially a very simple but very good mod. Its airflow is fantastic. The drip tip is nice and comfortable. You can, as Grimmgreen says, blur your juice into the middle. So if you were to take your juice bottle, I am sometimes a bit of a nervous dripper. I like to make sure that I'm completely saturated before I take a puff, and because it's got that center post, it distributes the juice down all over your coils, which is very nice. So it works very well. Let me just make sure we're in focus. Apologies, there we go. That's a little bit better, I think. It works really well. It's got some cool, it's got a cool little logo on there, which I like. It's quite a large atomizer, so if you put it on another device that isn't a larger mod, for example, then you are going to notice quite an overhang. So for example, if you put it on a 22mm mech, there is quite an overhang. Obviously though, you will be using this mainly on devices which are the right size for it, so it's 25mm around, so use larger mods or larger 25mm around, 24mm around, apologies, mods. But yeah, I won't waffle on too much about this. I think it's great. I'm really pleased that I've got it, and I highly recommend it. I got mine from Grey Haze in the UK, and it was $49.99, and I think that came with free shipping. So I've seen it from anywhere from, that is the lowest that I've seen it, and I've seen it up to about £60 in the UK. And if you go to Grey Haze, then there are various discount codes that you can get, I believe. So for example, if you sign up for their newsletter, I think you get a 5% off. I think there's also some Planet of the Vapes discount codes that you can get hold of. So yeah, you know, for under 50 quid, a nice atomizer, good pedigree, really pleasant vape, not too fiddly at all, and something which I will be enjoying for many months to come, I've no doubt. But thank you very much for watching. Do appreciate it as always, and I will be back again soon with a review for the Therion, which is a bit more complicated than the atomizer, so I'm going to spend a bit more time with it. But thank you very much again, and I will see you soon.